get down to that fourth period. She's in there tight, men. We're going to take it to you.
Yeah.
All of our guys, all of you made plays that helped to win the game. All of you. And it was a great team victory. I'm happy as the ticket for you. I want you to understand one thing, though, men. We have not won the Big Ten championship yet. This is a big hurdle. This is a big hurdle for us to get over. But we're healthy, and we're eager, and we're tough, and we're going to finish this season. We're going to finish with a flourish, and we're going to finish tough, and we're going to get better, and we're going to stay after them until we win the championship again and back to the Rose Bowl. That's our goal.
A special Michigan replay look inside a victorious Michigan locker room after the Wolverines defeat Illinois in Champaign 24-10. And Bo, you get emotional after these games, these big victories.
Well, we gotta keep that camera out of the locker room. First thing I noticed, I need a haircut.
Yeah, but it was such a big win. It's such an emotional win for the kids, especially going down to a hostile stadium to a group of Illini that thought this was their year. Big win.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be, Jim. And I thought our team played a great team effort, great team victory. We had to do some things there in the second half to pull that game out, and our offense responded. Our defense played better in the second half. I was really proud of our team.
I guess when you looked at the game going into it, it was supposed to be a defensive struggle. Michigan and Illinois 1-2 in the conference, and yet the offense is dominated early.
Early, I mean, there were some plays broken early. For example, this is our second play from scrimmage. Tony Bowles gets a couple of blocks and breaks it out, and Tony was mad. He got caught from behind here. He blamed it on these collars that they made him wear, where he's got a sore neck. Big Gerard Bunch dives in and scores the touchdown, and we go ahead 7-0.
Good to have him back and running hard.
Great. And that drive, Jim, was 3 plays, 76 yards, and a 7-0 score.
But here comes Mr. George.
George came right back and throwing the ball brilliantly, mixing up a few runs. Here's a 28-yard run from scrimmage. That's the longest run for them from scrimmage, and that's embarrassing. We don't like to be run on like that, but that was a big play for them. Came back with a power sweep from the 3-yard line. Griffith dives in for the touchdown at 7-7 in the first period.
First 2 drives, and the defenses didn't look like they were going to get it done this day.
Well, when you have defenses like that, the thing you got to understand is it takes a little time for them to adjust. Both of the defenses adjusted pretty well. That was a draw play by Michael Taylor. He comes back and hits Chris Callaway, who makes a fine catch for an 11-yard gain in the first down. Leroy Horde on the power sweep runs hard here, gets hit right there and runs through a tackler for a good gain. We're forced to punt, and we punt the ball, and unfortunately for Illinois, they roughed our kicker. And as long as that leg's in the air and you hit him, why you're going to get the penalty. So it gave us a first down, so we came back, hit an 11-yard gain to
big third down play, too.
Big one. Here's J.D. Carlson kicking a field goal to give us a 10-7 lead. His 12th consecutive field goal, which set a Michigan record that was held by Mike Gillette.
Into the wind, big kick.
Into the wind, and it was a great kick. They come right back, and here's Bellamy almost going all the way. That's a 41-yard pass reception that gives them great field position.
We go to the second quarter, but you hold. They go to the field goal and make it 10-10, just 3 seconds into the second quarter. So right. The defenses really haven't stopped anybody yet.
Well, not really, and but they've been hard to move on. But here was a blitz, and I thought Michael Taylor and Greg McMurtry teamed up real well on that one.
And talk about some third down efficiency. This was a great drive for that. 3rd
and 7. Here's a great catch by McMurtry again for a big gain. Fumbled the ball there after he hit the turf, but it was called dead and covered by us anyway.
And maybe the best run of the day.
3rd and 4. Here's a screen pass to Tony Bowles. Runs inside 2 guys and breaks a tackle. Comes outside and keeps right on going. Headbutts a guy at the 11. And that was a great run by Tony Bowles.
And then a little trickery on your part.
Well, this is a reverse. Desmond Howard coming around on the reverse. I thought he was going to score. He got tripped up at the 2-yard line, and then Michael Taylor on the option keep takes it in for the touchdown, and we take a 17-10 lead at halftime.
At halftime with the 17-10 lead, and the defense not really stopping Illinois. How did you feel? Did you feel comfortable, or did you feel like you had the thing working the way you wanted it?
Well, first of all, we were moving the ball. I'm always concerned about that. I know the defense will tighten up second half, and I always feel if we move the ball, scoring 17 points the first half, that we were going to have a chance to win this game.
Well, coming up next, the second half highlights and the big drive. But first, we hear from Michael Taylor, who talks about the big plays. They were very big, but they had to be made.
They have been, getting big plays from Jeff George and their offense. We knew that the only way we were going to be able to pull this game out, we couldn't really count on our defense to keep pulling us out of tight spots. So we just had to go out there and we wanted to sustain the ball and keep the drive going. And that's why we huddled together and we said, this is for the championship. Let's take it 80 yards for the whole gusto. And that's what we did. And we was able to come away with a touchdown, and that's what happened.
More than 50% of all business PCs don't communicate. If your computer's...
We were a little nervous. To be honest with you, that probably was the first half we've ever had this year. And but we buckled down and got together and just came out for the second half and played well and did what we had to do.
That was, of course, J.J. Grant talking about how the defense came out in the second half against Illinois and shut them out, which was not any small thing to do. And, Bo, having J.J. back in that inside linebacker position was big for this game.
Well, we need not just his ability as a linebacker, but his leadership qualities. And having him back in there, I think the performance of a lot of people around him was probably better.
Going into the second half, what adjustments were made defensively, and how did you perceive the second half going?
Well, I don't think there are any, adjustments that are going to astound the television audience here.
Nobody's going to be astounded by your great coaching ability?
No. I think that our defensive coaches just tightened them up a little bit. We had people on people, but, when he pinpoints those passes, that's pretty tough. Now, here's an interception by Michael Taylor. He overthrew Desmond Howard, and Jones, their fine defensive back, picked it off. Got the ball at the 31-yard line, and now the advantage, of course, is with Illinois. They hit this pass at the 20. He takes it down inside the 15-yard line, and they are on the move. 3rd down and 4. George back hits his pass over. The guy caught it with one hand. I didn't think he caught it first, but as I looked at it, he hung on to the ball. 4th and 1. This is the key play. George goes back to pass. We had him pretty well covered. Overthrew it, and consequently, their drive was stopped and saved the day for us there.
Were you surprised that they threw on 4th and 1?
No, not really. If you have Jeff George, you got a real good chance on 4th and 1.
But speaking of big plays, this is the drive that puts it away. With 7 minutes left to go and a 7-point lead, you had to get it done. And
we had 80 yards to go in 7 minutes. And Michael Taylor on the option, twice on the option, once for 13, once for 15, with very big plays. Here's big Gerard Bunch, who we certainly welcome back after missing 5 weeks. Made his presence felt with some tough runs inside. There's the option again.
And a key strategy move, the option out of the I formation.
Yes, we hadn't done that before. We put that in this week and quite successful. Here's Bunch running very hard inside. And we're moving the football now, Jim, and like we like to do, rushing it. Here's Tony Bowles breaking tackles, going into the end zone, and scoring the clinching touchdown. It's 24-10, and we're in command. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. George goes back to pass, and Trip Wellborn intercepts for Michigan, his first interception of the year, I might add. And that finishes their opportunity to win.
Now, that last drive had to be as pleasing to you as I can think, because it was all on the ground. The game was in the balance. You called the offense over before you went on the field during a timeout and said, this is the time, and they responded.
This is the key situation, 7 minutes, 80 yards to go. We have to get points on the board. I don't care whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. We got to get in position, and we got to take time off the clock. Well, that drive took a little over 5 minutes, and so by the time that we had scored to take a 2-touchdown lead, there were only 2 minutes left, Jim, and that put the game on ice.
And you enjoyed that kind of football probably more than anything, don't you? The fact the game was on the line and we're in a battle. This is what it's all about. Well,
it was the type of situation where if you don't have a running attack, you're in a hit-and-miss proposition. If you have a running attack, you can move the chains, you can control the ball, you can eat up the clock, and you can put yourself in position to get the points that are going to win the game. And the other thing I think positive about the drive is the fact that the offensive line had taken some heat over the course of the year, but when it got down to winning a big game on a hostile field, they got it done. They delivered. And let's make this point, Jim. We're not running against an ordinary college defense. This is one of the best defensive teams in the country, and particularly against the rush. And that's why putting 266 rushing yards on that defense means that our offensive line has improved an awful lot. They certainly have, and Michigan gets the 24-10 victory over Illinois. Don't go away. We'll be back with a special Michigan replay salute to the defense. But first, we hear from Tony Bowles about that drive versus Illinois.
Yeah, you know, we knew that they was going to come at us a little bit, you know, so we kind of went to the wishbone and kind of just trying to run the clock out, try to get first downs. If we get first downs, we can run the clock out good, and exactly what happened. You know, we had a couple big breaks where we had holding and so forth, where we were hurting ourselves, so we just knew we could stick with it. Offensive career rise to the occasion.
Go back in there again. It's a sudden change. You ready? We're not letting them in that end zone. No, it's a great effort.
We all want to be, I guess, the best defensive player, but that's really not happening, and that's making our defense better because it's like we have 11 great players on our defense. We don't have that one player, and that's, I guess, the key to our defense is that we're competitors within.
It's the type of defense that when one guy does something well, he's got 10 other guys out there jumping on him. Some guy makes a play, you know, he's got everybody else jumping on him, really excited. You know, that really is the key to Michigan defense, is having everybody for everyone else.
We like to get to the ball. Everybody likes to meet me at the ball. That's what they say. So everybody likes to get to the ball. And when you get there, I mean, you want to hit them because you ran so far, but you got to have something. There's got to be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow somewhere. So you just want to go over there and get a nice lick in, a nice, clean, legal lick, and that's always good. And so we try to go out and hit as hard as we can for as long as we can.
That's the story of Michigan defense, and the one thing to remember that Michigan is still averaging giving up less than 100 yards on the ground over the course of the season, and this defense has really come of age this season.
Well, and it's right at the right time, you know, when you're ready to make a run for the championship. But our defense is an interesting defense, kind of a no-name. You know, there aren't a lot of heralded guys there, but there are a lot of fine football players.
And the thing is, one of the things that you've always stressed, and your defensive coaches have always stressed, is you do get 11 hats to the football. That's one of the big keys, and you don't find too many people making big plays against Michigan.
Jim, today the offenses are so complex and so different that it's tough to adjust from week to week. And the important thing is to, as Lloyd said, is to get people in the right place and then get people that can play their position and pursue and get to the ball. You've got to have mobility and quickness to do that.
Well, the Michigan defense certainly does, and if you want to honor the Michigan defense and the entire 1989 Michigan football team, you can this year by showing up at the Michigan football bust. Tickets are still available. The bust occurs on Monday, November 27th. It'll start at 5 p.m. at the Westin Hotel in the Renaissance Center. Information and tickets, take this number down. Call 682-7921. If you're outside the area code 313, that is the area code, 682-7921 for your tickets for the Michigan football bus to honor the 1989 Michigan Wolverines, possible Big Ten champions. They still got 2 games, though, and we'll take a look at the Golden Gophers, the Wolverines' next opponent, when Michigan Replay continues.